Inside this video topic, we'll see and discuss the functions of add post model. Let's go back to browser. So up to last video, successfully we have completed overall all the functionality of this post list where we have seen the concept of three APIs of WordPress. First was how to get all WordPress post and list inside this tabular format. And second, how to get category name on the base of category ID. And third API was how to get featured media images on the base of media ID. Now next, inside this video, we'll start the functions and the concept of this add new post model. So first thing first, what is the basic purpose of this add post model? So we can see that inside this model, here we have some form input fields like title, category, content, featured image, and status. So it means when we pass all these data and hit a WordPress API call, so by the help of these data and in API call, actually we have to create a dynamic post inside WordPress. But one more thing, before creating any post inside WordPress, if we closely look over this drop down, so we can see that it is containing two static values like category 1 and category 2. So it means first thing first, we have to get the dynamic categories of WordPress and bind with this category drop down. If we go to our WordPress setup, post, categories. So we can see that inside this categories list, here we have laptop and uncategorized. So first I will get all these categories and bind with this category drop down. And later on, we have to work over the functions that how to create a dynamic post with these form input fields. Before going further, I only request you to please hit the like button to give us a thumbs up to this interesting course, and please do subscribe so that I will be creating such type of amazing and interesting courses for you. Next, after this, let's go back to project editor. Then I'll go and open postlist.jsx component, and here inside this file at the last we can see that here we have add post model and edit post model. So conditionally, actually we are triggering to open our add post model by the help of this add button click, and here we have edit post model. So first thing first, we have to get the dynamic categories and bind with this category drop down. So what we can do, if we remember, so inside this post list component, here we have a state variable called categories. And remember, also we had done an API call. If I go, so here we have the API call, and by the help of this API call and function, actually we got all the categories and stored inside that state variable. So what we can do, instead of doing one more API call to get all the categories inside add post model component, what we can do, simply let's copy this state variable, and here inside this model, I will use the concept of props. So here, let's say categories list equals to curly pairs, and this is our state variable. Next, after this, I will save all these changes. Let's go back to project folder. I will then open add post model component. And as you know that we are passing one more properties, so simply let's copy and pass inside this D structure. So what we can do, if I copy and for the time being, let's say console.log and print here, save these changes. Let's go back to browser. Let's reload. First I'll go and inspect here. Let's open console tab, and if I click on this add post, and now we can see that inside that properties, inside that prop, we are getting our index value as the category ID and category name. So here we have category ID equals to 1, which is uncategorized, and category ID equals to 3, which is laptop. So what we can do, simply we have to iterate over each data, and we can bind all these data with this category dropdown. Now what next? Let's go back to project editor. Then I will go and first comment this line, that is console.log, scroll up to categories dropdown. Let's remove this static HTML, and here let's say curly pairs object dot entries, and here we have to pass our prop, that is category list. Then I will use the concept of map function. So here we'll have our index value and then the value. Let's use arrow function, and right here let's add our HTML, that is our option tag, and inside this option let's say curly pairs value, And inside this, let's add value attribute and it will be index. And also for re-rendering process, we have to add one more prop and that is key. And also inside we have index. Save these changes. So once we do, if I go and again reload, let's click on add post. And now we can see that successfully we have bind our dynamic categories like uncategorized and laptop with this category drop down. Next, after this, after getting our dynamic categories, now next we have to work over the functions of this featured media image. It means that whenever if I submit all this form data, as we know that also we are uploading this featured media image with this post inside WordPress. So before creating any WordPress post using its API call, first thing first, also we have to work over to upload this featured media image inside WordPress so that after upload we get media ID and that media ID will be bind with our create post API and then it will create a dynamic post inside WordPress. So what we can do, if I go into this WordPress panel, let's open its front end. And after that, if I type, let's say wp-json, wp-v2, hit enter, and let's do some zoom here. And if I search, let's say wp v2 media. So we can see that this is the URL endpoint, which basically we can hit using get request type and post request type. So let's go inside endpoints. Let's close this first one, which is get request type. So inside post request type, we can see that here we have like most of the parameters, what we can pass like date underscore GMT, slug, status, and here we have title. So what we can do, simply to create or upload any media image inside WordPress, simply we have to use this API endpoint, that is WPV2 media, using post request type. Now next, let's go back to project editor. Then I will go to the form tag. So we can see that inside this form tag, here we have on submit event, and inside on submit, here we have the event handler function. So let's go inside this function. And we can see that right now inside this function, here we have post data and object variable. And inside this object variable, look at a key called featured media. So right now we have stored this state variable, but this is not the image URL. Actually, this will contain the media ID. So what we can do, let's say let featured image ID equals to, and initially it will contain a null value. So let's pass here, and then what we can do, let's copy this state variable, because by the help of this function of this state variable, simply we are storing the image data or the file data to that state variable. So what we can do, let's copy this featured image. Then I will go here. Actually, here we have to upload media to WordPress and also get back media ID. So what we can do here, let's first check that if we have any file inside this state variable. So inside that case, let's say featured image ID equals to, or wait, not wait, or wait, let's say handle featured image upload. And inside this function, I will pass simply that file, that is featured image. Let's copy this function name. Then I will go here and let's say upload featured image, let's say const function name async function, and inside this function we are taking our image file, let's say featured image file. Then I will go into this function, and before that I have to use arrow function. Let's use try catch block because we're going to hit our API call. So error, in case of any error, simply I will go and console.log. So let's say console.log error. Now next I will go inside this try block. So inside this try block, let's say const API response equals to await, and here it will be fetch method. And inside this fetch method, let's go back to browser. I will copy up to this base URL called wp-v2. Let's post, and then after that I will pass, let's say media. Simply I will copy. So after wp forward slash v2 forward slash media, and here let's pass some parameters, that is method type. So this time I will use post request type, let's add some headers, and inside these headers simply first I will pass let's say authorization, and here let's say basic keyword concatenate with base64 encoded value of username of admin like WordPress and the password value. And one more thing, also we have to send some data with this API URL so that this file will be uploaded to WordPress. So what we can do, I'll use the concept of form data. So const, let's say form data equals to new form data. Then after that, let's say form data, this object variable, then I will call append method, and here let's say file, and inside this file simply I will pass this featured image file here. And then after that, let's say form data, one more thing we have to append, and that is alt underscore text. And one more thing here, if you are wondering that how do I know the key name that is alt underscore text, so simply if I go to the API documentation inside this post concept, if I go and scroll, so we can see that here we have alt underscore text. So this is the parameter what we can pass using post request type. So simply here we have the file name and second key called alt text. So in this case, let's say featured image of post, any text you can pass here. Now after doing all these things, let's copy this form data. Let's add one more property that is data, and here we have form data. So once we do all these things, simply let's say const API data equals to API response dot JSON, and for the time being let's say console dot log API data. Save these changes. So if I go, let's reload. And okay, here we have some error that is unexpected reserved await, and this is coming from this block of code from where we are uploading our featured media image. So this await keyword, let's go back to editor and check that why it is happening. So okay, actually here we have used await keyword before this function calls. So this block of code must be inside this async function block. Save these changes. So once we save, and now we can see that error has been fixed. So what we can do, first I will go and clear this console. Let's close and click on this add post. Let's pass some information. So post new, choose any category, sample content, choose any file. So for example, I want to upload this image. So let's select here status publish. So whenever if I click on the submit button, so automatically this will first go inside this event handler function. And here by the help of this code, it will call this function, and this function is going to upload our featured media image first, and then it will return or it will console the API response. So what we can do, let's go and click on submit button, and here we have one more error that is 400 bad request. And why it is coming, let's check all the parameters what we are sending. So this is our URL, method type equals to post, authorization, this is also okay, and okay, this is not data, this is actually body. Save these changes, and here if I go, let's reload, click on add post, let's say post new category, sample content, let's say this image, select status, click on submit. Now successfully we can see that our featured media image now uploaded inside WordPress. So this time we don't have any error. Instead, here we have a promise block. Let's go inside network tab, and inside this network tab, click on media because we have used WordPress media API to upload our media image file. And now we can see that after upload, it has returned the complete JSON data. And here we have ID equals to 30. It means the image what we have uploaded, it uploads inside WordPress. If I go media, and now we can see that this image here and its ID equals to 30. So after upload, it has returned the media ID. So successfully. Now here inside this video, we have two most interesting concepts, that is how to get the dynamic categories using props concept, and second, how to upload our media file inside WordPress. In the next video, we'll discuss or continue this video topic so that the create post API we have to use and create a dynamic post inside WordPress. So friends, I hope that this video is too much informative and interesting. So please give us a thumbs up to like this video, subscribe to this channel. Now let's meet to our next amazing video. So for this video session guys, thank you for watching and have a great day.